He gave her 4 minutes to fail. She ended it in 42 seconds and made the galaxy question its own doctrine. Welcome to humanity's Vanguard HFY and Sci-Fi stories, where humans don't ask permission, they rewrite the rules. She wasn't bleeding. She wasn't desperate. She wasn't cornered. Commander Jessica Booker stood at the center of the Celestini Accord's tactical proving sphere like she had all the time in the universe. Around her, white alloy walls shimmered with predictive combat grids and threat mapping overlays. Above, observers watched through polarized glass. Among them stood strategist Ryan Malone, arms folded, jaw tight, already regretting volunteering her for evaluation. The alien instructors believed in algorithms, probability trees, synchronized suppression waves. Jessica believed in momentum. She rolled her shoulders once, loosened her gloves, and looked up at the observation deck with an almost lazy smile. For minutes, she asked over the open channel, "You won't need that long." 2 hours earlier, the hall had felt colder. The Celestini Accord training spire rose like a needle of pearl glass over the capital continent of Ether Prime, its corridors silent except for the harmonic hum of anti-grav stabilizers. Prefect Keller, 8 feet tall, skin like polished obsidian threaded with faint bioluminescent veins, had addressed Jessica as if she were a malfunctioning device. His species, the Valori, possessed 4 arms and vertically stacked eyes that processed motion in layered spectrums. To them, war was choreography dictated by predictive engines. Jessica, hands in her jacket pockets, had listened politely while Ryan Malone stood beside her, immaculate in formal fleet blacks, projecting the calm of a diplomat hiding a wager. Keeler's final words had been measured and cutting. Human improvisation is statistically inefficient. The proving sphere activated with a descending chime. Gravity shifted by degrees, then by intent. Hard light barricades rose from the floor in angular patterns while aerial drones unfolded from ceiling recesses like metallic blossoms. The Accord's combat AI seeded the chamber with hostile constructs calibrated to overwhelm a 6-unit Valori squad. Standard doctrine required synchronized entry, shared telemetry, and compliance with the grid. Jessica toggled off the auto-assist overlay. "Clutter," she muttered. Ryan exhaled sharply in the observation deck. The countdown began. 4 minutes flashed in crystalline numerals above the chamber. Keller signaled for phase escalation without waiting for her to request a partner. Jessica didn't sprint at first. She walked. The first drone dipped low, projecting a lance of coherent light designed to herd, not kill. She pivoted and fired a compact chemical sidearm, an antique by galactic standards. The crack of propellant thundered through the sterile acoustics, shocking in its rawness. The round ricocheted off a gravity plate she'd clocked in peripheral vision, angling upward into the drone's intake seam. It dropped. She was already moving. No cover. No synchronized suppression. She angled her body into the shifting gravity well, letting the lateral pull accelerate her stride. To the Valori observers, it looked reckless. To Ryan, it looked like someone solving a puzzle faster than the puzzle could exist. Phase 2 inverted the chamber's axis. Walls became floors. Barricades slid on magnetic tracks. 3 drones formed a triangular lock, triangulating her heat signature. Jessica holstered 1 pistol, vaulted, and kicked off a floating barricade, using the rotational drift to alter her vector midair. She fired downward, then backward, anticipating where the drones would correct, not where they were. The AI adjusted, elevating threat density. A simulated heavy construct dropped from above, projecting a suppression field that pulsed in disciplined intervals. She timed the pulses by feel rather than feed, slipping through the narrow quiet between them. Ryan saw Keeler's upper eyes narrow. The predictive engine's success probability dipped below acceptable thresholds. Then Keller authorized Phase 4, the lethal suite. It was designed for synchronized Valori units operating as a hive. The chamber darkened. Holographic hostiles solidified into reinforced frames. A hostage marker blinked crimson at the far end behind a reinforced wall with a single sanctioned entry point. Standard protocol-required stacking, breach code, layered, advance. Jessica didn't approach the door. She scanned the curvature of the sphere, calculating stress lines in the composite alloy. Her voice came calm over the comms. "Ryan, remember the lecture about structural elegance?" He didn't answer. She was already placing compact charges along a seam the architects had assumed no one would notice. The explosion didn't shatter the wall. It erased it. Vaporized composite blossomed into a cloud expanding at violent speed. Jessica rode the shockwave forward, sliding across the polished surface as gravity tilted again. She fired in opposite directions without looking, forcing every turret and drone to recalibrate toward her noise and motion. Left, she barked not at a partner beside her, but at Ryan through the open channel. He understood. The AI prioritized her as primary anomaly. Every hostile eye tracked the blur screaming across their optics. Through the corridor of confusion she'd carved, Ryan steady, precise, disciplined advanced along the clear vector she'd engineered. Inside the chamber, Jessica became spectacle and bait in one breath. She vaulted over a collapsing barricade, spun beneath a cutting beam, and redirected a falling drone with a sharp heel strike into another construct sensor cluster. No wasted motion. No visible strain. Her face behind the visor held focus, not frenzy. She wasn't wounded. She wasn't desperate. She was orchestrating chaos. The hostage marker flickered as Ryan reached it, disabling restraints with efficient grace. Jessica backflipped through a narrowing aperture, landing in a low crouch as the final heavy construct recalibrated. One shot. Center mass seam. Silence. 42 seconds. The proving sphere lights brightened slowly, as if embarrassed. 4 minutes still glowed above the chamber, untouched. Jessica stood, brushing carbon scoring from her sleeve, breathing steady. Ryan exhaled a laugh he hadn't realized he'd been holding. In the observation deck, the Valori officers did not speak. Their predictive engine replayed the engagement at accelerated speed, then slowed it, then froze on the moment she chose the wall instead of the door. Keller reviewed the violation list, scrolling down his data slate protocol breaches, unsanctioned explosives, auto-assist disabled, structural compromise. At the bottom, one immutable line, mission success. Hostage secured. 0 casualties. In the debriefing chamber, Keller faced her with all four hands clasped behind his back. "You ignored doctrine," he said. Jessica tilted her head. "I optimized it." Ryan watched the realization move through the Valori prefect like a slow dawn. Their doctrine assumed adversaries who respected the grid. What if an enemy fought like this? What if they weaponized unpredictability instead of fearing it? Keeler's voice lowered. "If your species proliferates within our ranks, our manuals will require revision." Jessica smiled, not unkindly. Good. They were getting dusty. Ryan signed the Joint Command integration papers that evening under the violet sky of Aethra Prime. The Accord didn't just accept a human officer. It invited a philosophy, a willingness to trade elegance for outcome, to turn physics into a dance partner instead of a rulebook. As Jessica left the spire, she paused only long enough to glance back at the flawless architecture. For minutes, she murmured. They really thought I needed for minutes. Somewhere above, Valori strategists began recalculating what a human could do with less than one. And in that recalculation, a quiet truth emerged. If humanity ever stood against them, the Accord would not lose to superior firepower. It would lose to imagination. As the lights of Aethra Prime dimmed and the Celestini Accord quietly rewrote centuries of doctrine, one truth echoed through the stars: never measure humanity by your standards. We don't follow the grid. We redraw it. If you felt that surge of human defiance, if you believe ingenuity beats perfection, then you're already one of us. Subscribe now to Humanity's Vanguard HFY and Sci-Fi stories and stand with the species that turns impossible odds into legendary victories. Because out there in the dark, humans don't ask how. We ask how fast.